Welcome everyone to our latest presentation here on Assistive Touch. This presentation was done by Jerry Feliz on using voice control with VoiceOver. Thanks for watching.
So we did voiceover last week, so I'm going to go over the different technologies. The ultimate goal is to learn how to use voice control.
Yes.
Not constantly be reiterating these things just to make those distinctions. There's 4 technologies that intersect with what we're doing today. The goal is to learn voice control. However, we're going to be using voiceover to do that. I wish the names were kind of different.
Yeah.
So voiceover is your screen reader for anybody who's visually impaired, or they're completely
Okay.
blind or low vision. Voice control is a technology used for those that have fine motor challenges. So what we're going to do is merge the two. And I'll talk. Go ahead.
I said yes.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Now, there's 2 other technologies that I'll talk about briefly. So there's spoken content, which is just screen reading on demand, and we'll intersect with that as well, potentially. But that's not as significant. And all I mean by screen reading on demand is that you just hit the play button and then it begins to read the whole screen. But that's not comprehensive screen reading. So what is comprehensive screen reading? It covers the reader, the screen reader reads all of the elements on the screen. So that could be an actionable button like the back button. That could be something as simple as pressing a create a new note button. Spoken content's not going to do that. Spoken content's just going to read the page. VoiceOver, our full-blown screen reader, is going to do that. It's going to be able to select the create a new note button, or create a new email button, or the back button, or the reply button, or the new email button. So big distinction between the two. If you want to think about it in a simple way, if you have a website, you have an address bar, and then you have, other elements on the page, whether it's your toolbar, your address bar, etc. And then you have the body of the page, which is like your content. Could be the New York Times. It'll give you all the information on the New York Times or the Boston Globe or whatever.
Right.
Web page you could think about. Well, spoken content is going to read you the article. Spoken content is not going to read you the address bar, and it's not going to read you the toolbar.
Okay.
VoiceOver will.
Okay.
Then here's the good. Yep.
So VoiceOver will read me the article, or did I get that wrong?
VoiceOver will read you the toolbar, the address bar, and the article.
Okay.
Spoken content will only read you the article.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And look, I'll continue to reiterate these points, and the reason why I'm kind of trying hammering this stuff down, because this is a little complicated. This is not as simple as like what it seems like on the surface. It all sounds good, but the truth is, like, they've consolidated a ton of technology and software into these devices.
Yes.
And what helps someone really is if they know what's going on a little bit, and the techniques to use it from their perspective, for what they want it to be used for. So if they want a task to be completed, what's the most efficient and best way to complete that task? Okay. All right. And I'll talk about one last piece, and then we'll go back to the topic, the main topic anyway. All of these are peripheral points, but they're important. Then there's was it speech recognition on demand, or well, actually that's the wrong term. I'm even getting stuck on the terms because there's so many. It's dictation on demand. Dictation on demand is not the same thing as voice control. I just want to make that distinction. Dictation on demand is when you have your virtual keyboard up on a, like, let's say you're creating a text message, and that little dictation icon appears to the left of the virtual keyboard spacebar, and you tap on it, and then it begins to dictate. That is not what I'm talking about today with voice control. Voice control, you get to the element, you get to the app that you want to open, You get to everything on the screen. Dictation's not going to do that. Dictation's going to write on an active edit field,
Right.
but that's all it's going to do. That's dictation on demand. Then the last piece of technology, or software or AI is Siri. So there is more of a correlation between Siri and voice control. They are not the same. And so just to make a distinction,
Okay.
Siri is you want to think about it as your personal AI or your personal assistant.
Yeah.
It's just labels, but personal assistant's fine. It's still AI.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's where they're the same.
Mhm.
You give it a voice command, so you tell it what to do, and it does what you're telling it to do. Voice control gives you more functionality. Okay, so I think it's probably most helpful from a order of operations perspective to start voice control first,
Mhm.
then start voiceover second.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that's what we're gonna cover mainly today is those two things.
Okay.
And then you're gonna just explore those things on your own, and we'll continue to add week to week, okay? And we will do something with it, but it's gonna be pretty straightforward and simple today. Simple in the sense of what our tasks are.
Okay.
Not simple in the context of working with two different modalities.
Right.
The screen reader and the voice command system. Okay, so let me get my phone here. This. Okay. Turn voice control on.
Okay, I turn voice control on.
Okay. Open camera. So I said open camera, it opened camera. Okay, and I'm just showing it on my screen, Beth. Okay, open app switcher. So it opens up app switcher. Then I say swipe up, swipe up, swipe up, and swipe up, swipe up, swipe up, swipe up. So now it goes to the home screen because it got rid of every single app. Okay. That's using it without voiceover, which is not as helpful, right? Let's turn voiceover on, okay?
Oh.
Turn voiceover on.
Voiceover on.
When voiceover was off, the commands ran, and that's how someone uses it without voiceover. Now that we're using it with voiceover, how are we going to use it with voiceover?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do the itemized list piece, which is like, let's move item by item, okay? Because that's the first exercise you do when you're teaching someone how to use VoiceOver. You navigate the home screen and all of the apps on the home screen. It's about 20 apps by swiping right. And so, Beth, that's kind of important for you to know because you want to understand the psychology of how a screen reader works.
Right. Right.
Okay, so a screen reader is pretty linear. So if you imagine swiping right, it moves you to the next element. It works with a keyboard too. Whichever one, like, hammers the point in for you, just use it. So also, if you use it with a keyboard, arrow right would move you to the next element. Okay. Depending on a couple different variables, but that's the general idea. Arrow right moves you to the next element. Arrow left moves you to the previous element or the one that you were just at. If I swiped right, it would move me over one. How do I do that with voice control on at the same time that voiceover is on? So select next item. That didn't work.
Suggested commands. Bullet voiceover select next item.
Voiceover select next item.
Messages. One unread message.
Okay.
Double tap to open.
Voiceover select next item.
Calendar. Monday, November 11. Double
Voiceover
tap to open.
select next item.
Photos. Double tap to open.
VoiceOver double tap. Let me try it. The VoiceOver double tap. Open app switcher.
App switcher.
Swipe
App
up.
store. Active.
It opened the app I didn't want it to open. So let's
Yeah.
so VoiceOver select next item.
Maps.
VoiceOver
Double tap to
activate.
open.
VoiceOver activate. Okay. So
Location.
what's nice about this, right, is, and I'll run this again.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just summarize what I just did. So VoiceOver select next item, moves the VoiceOver cursor, which, Beth, it's a box that goes around the element, okay? It's a visual indicator box that moves around to the next element.
Right.
And then, so when you move it over, it'll move it to the next element. Now, to open it, I tried to say VoiceOver double tap, didn't work. What was nice is it gave me the suggestion for the command. It said, VoiceOver activate. Then I said VoiceOver activate,
Location. Share.
and it did open it for me. Okay, it
Mhm.
opened up
Yeah.
the application. In order to move within the application,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna have you do this too, okay? But to
Yep.
move within the application, then
Yes.
I would say VoiceOver select next item, and I could explore element by element. There's a different way to do this.
Okay.
That's one, okay?
For more information, contact Jerry Feliz, Access Technology Director, phone number 857-443-6636, email jfeliz@mapcommunity.org. Thank you so much for watching.